Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this, what is it? Oh, yeah, Wednesday, 25th of September, 2024. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on X, smash that heart. And I hope everyone's having a great Wednesday.
I don't know why, but we're struggling to start. Whatever. It's whatever Wednesday, everybody.
It's whatever Wednesday.
It's whatever Wednesday. Hope everybody had a great evening last night. Had, I guess, some shenanigans, but I mean, that's pretty par for the course in this day and age that, you know, things are like happening all over the place. Just wanted to touch on a couple of things. Go over a couple of the.
Can we say hi to everyone first?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. My bad. What's up, F Clan? Yo,
Aaron.
Hey, Aaron. What's going on, man?
Chachi.
Hey, Chachi.
Carol.
Hey, Carol.
Can't believe you weren't going to say hello.
You were busy doing things over there. I figured I'd give you some time. Whatevs.
Got Brother Bill in the house.
What's up, Brother Bill?
Got Wendy in the house.
Hey, Wendy. Just got home from Target. Got me. She got herself a Tuck-It bathing suit on clearance.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Mike in the house.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Got Miss Jenny in the
Jenny.
house. Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Miss Colleen.
Colleen, how you doing?
Okay, got everybody. Now
Did we
you
get
may
everybody?
carry on.
Okay,
Oh, wait. Ange just showed up.
There's Ange. Hey, Ange, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Thanks, everybody, for joining. And thank you to all the people who are listening on the TV, or actually we hear that there's some over-the-road truckers that listen to us as well. So we definitely want to give a shout out to y'all as well. Y'all make sure that we get the food and things that we need because nobody's really buying wants anymore. But hey, look, y'all keep this country running. We know it. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all of y'all too. So yeah, much appreciation. There's Renee. Hey, Renee.
We always bicker back and forth.
It's her fault.
It's your fault.
How is it my fault? You started it.
Hi, Renee. Because you're a brat.
Okay. All right. So just a couple, I'm just going to kind of do a gloss over on all this stuff. So September 25th, 2020, Q post 4772 says, never bring an arrow in a quiver to a Losber missile fight. which is a line of sight, some kind of like basically there's a laser infrared beam that they guide the missile with. But anyway, so this interesting tidbit happened here, and that is Hezbollah launches a missile at Tel Aviv. Israel strikes back, and Israel reportedly intercepted a missile launched at Tel Aviv by Iranian-backed terrorist group Hezbollah early on Wednesday morning. And then, just like the Q Post said, it kind of came back and bit them in the keister. One of the other things, let's see, then next is Q Post 4771, also from 2020. Down here at the bottom, they show the Obamagate and the Watergate and how much bigger Obamagate is over the target Q. One of the things that I believe that that's talking about is everything that's going on, specifically the Diddy stuff. That's going to directly tie back to them because they're all friendly with each other, and they are kind of Obamagate, right? Let's see, what was the next one that I had here? Okay, the next one. Let's see, Q Post 4769 was about Comey. And then 4770, that one was, Mueller, which I didn't find anything relevant to that today, but I mean, not everything's going to be relevant. Again, September 25th, 2020, Q Post 4768, judgment is coming. And then I saw that this popped up today. Kamala hit with a new investigation after potential major campaign violation. Do you have anything about that one, Kay? I didn't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, okay. And basically they're doing an investigation because it looks like her little stunt with using the Air Force to bring Zelensky over to Pennsylvania kind of might be illegal and against election law. Surprise, surprise. Let's see. Then the next one, some will take the easy path and exit early. That would be the next Q Post.
Change.
What's that?
It's still
it still didn't change. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you very much. Q Post 4767, September 25th, 2020. Some will take the easy path and take an early exit. And I believe, yep, here it is. This one, September 25th, retired New York judge unalives himself during firefight with the FBI after agents attempt to raid his home in connection with alleged bribery scheme, rather. So there are definitely some Q posts that the deltas are kind of popping up. So found that to be a little bit interesting, but definitely moving forward. Q is not completely gone. It's not something that's gone away. Obviously, they're still communicating with us. The fact that there are relevant articles that are hitting the very same day to the day years afterwards says that there's some kind of plan going on as far, excuse me. Damn, that didn't work. Anyways, as far as I could tell.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, Steven, what's going on?
Rambo.
Hey, Rambo, what's going on, man? All right. Anyway.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got RFK.
Awesome.
RFK Jr. breaks down the early days of the jibber jabber autism CDC studies, in quotes. Ready?
Yep.
So, there's a number of things that happened in 1989. But it's those diseases, all these autoimmune diseases suddenly appeared. I never knew anybody with juvenile diabetes. When I was a kid, a typical pediatrician would see one case of juvenile diabetes in his career. Today, 1 out of every 3 kids who walk through his office door has it. Something happened. Why isn't anybody talking about this? Rheumatoid arthritis suddenly exploded, lupus, all these autoimmune diseases, Crohn's disease, these exotic diseases. Nobody ever heard of when I was a kid. Now they're everywhere. And so you have allergic diseases, you have neurological disease and autoimmune diseases, and obesity suddenly appear around 1989. And so there's a number of things that could be blamed for it. Well, the CDC thought it may be the vaccine schedule. Let's check. So they looked at one vaccine, which is the hepatitis B vaccine. They looked at kids who had gotten it in the first 30 days, and then they looked at kids who had not gotten it in 30 days. In other words, kids who got it later or didn't get it at all. And they compared these two groups. And among the kids who got it in the first 30 days, there was a I think it was a 10,000% increased risk for a later subsequent autism diagnosis if you got in the first 30 days.
Wow.
So they immediately knew what was causing it. Oh, I know it was 11.35. So it's 1,135% increased risk. And so they knew immediately, it's called a relative risk of 11.35. If you have a relative risk of 2, causation is presumed. This was 11.35. The link between cigarettes, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day for 20 years and getting lung cancer is a relative risk of 10. This was 11.35. So they knew what it was. And then they had an emergency meeting that they called. They didn't want to do it on CDC campus because they thought it would be susceptible to freedom of information requests. So they did it in this remote retreat center called Simpsonwood, which is a Methodist retreat center on the wooded banks of the Chattahoochee River, in a remote part of Georgia. And they had all of the big pangerums from the vaccine industry, from the pharmaceutical industry, from the universities, who are the ones who test the vaccines, from NIH, CDC, FDA, the World Health Organization, the European Medicals Agency, and they all got together for 2 days to talk about this study. The first day, and somebody made a transcript of it. And that transcript was given to me. And I published excerpts from it. But the first day, they're all talking about, oh my God, the lawyers are going to come after us. Nobody can deny this. This is bulletproof. There's no way to argue with this. This is real science. We can't, what are we going to do? The second day, they spent talking about how to hide it from the American public. And I published these things. Oh, then, I took a lot of heat at that point. But
Wow.
Thoughts, sir.
So, very interesting. I did notice that it was Sean Ryan's 117th episode that RFK Jr. was on. So I thought that was kind of cool. But regardless, anyway, so think about it like this. Sean Ryan, he spent a lot of his time talking to CIA agents, former CIA agents, talked to FBI, Delta Force SEALs, all of these, action figures, I guess. And now he's talking to RFK Jr. So it's kind of a different personality that he would be interviewing altogether. I mean, yeah, he's talked with Tucker Carlson and everything, and obviously President Trump, but really the RFK Jr. is the opposite of everything that all of these people that he normally talks to. And so the change in format that he's kind of having not a change in format, but a change in style of who he talks to. It's a communication in and of itself. And so what is this communication? The way I see this communication is that RFK Jr., now that he's tying himself he's getting tied into the Trump administration that's going to be coming up, it is getting people prepared for the things that RFK Jr. is going to talk about. Thank God he's talking about the jabs that people, have had so many problems with. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But I do believe that this is one of those things that's setting people up for what is going to be happening in the future, because there is going to be an untold amount of anger when people recognize how devastating these jabs have been for everybody, and they've been hurting kids knowingly. Obviously, based off of the information, clearly it's more dangerous than cigarettes, right? So it's it's going to create a lot of anger, especially when people look at their kids and they say, you've been stealing my kids' brains, their lives from them. And now they have these problems that y'all created. So it's going to, like slowly build up with stuff like this, because the reaction that a lot of people are going to have once they finally figure it out could be really bad. But again, these are the things that are going to happen slowly over time, because we got to keep everybody calm. This is one of those things where it has to happen this way, and that's going to be a slow exposure.
Yeah.
My thoughts on that one.
Mm-hmm. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. Aaron had a question.
Oh. Did I see RFK Jr. sued to keep his name on the ballot in New York State? I think it's to divide the Democrat vote, as he's trying to get off the ballots in other states. There's going to be games afoot. I think some of this is also, they know who they're going up against, and they want to expose and I guess entrap, really, for lack of a better word. But they're not investigators. They are people that are trying to, like RFK Jr. He's just trying to be, he's trying to have his political campaign. So would it be entrapment? No, not so much. But he's definitely given these people enough rope to, I don't know what I can say here.
You can't.
Yeah, nothing there. Yeah, give them enough rope.
There you go. You
to
ready?
take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Whatever.
70 jabs in recommended child
Jab
thing
schedule
has not produced healthier kids. You ready?
All right, here we go.
In 1985, newborn millennials had to follow a schedule of just a handful of vaccines. Today, a child following the recommended vaccine schedule will receive up to 70 shots by the time they turn 18, including 27 before he or she turns 2, and as many as 6 shots in a single visit. Are all these shots producing healthier kids? According to the data, no. Are we allowed to even ask? Also, no. Some parents who've asked too many questions about the recommended vaccine schedule can find themselves reported to Child Protection Services. Or they will get kicked out of their pediatrician's office for not being compliant. This is America, the land of the free. Parents are being held hostage. They did not sign up to co-parent with the government. We want a divorce.
Thoughts, sir?
Again, exposure. And Rambo said it right there. This is the point of the Rona jab psyop. This exactly. This is the point of it. It's to get people fired up and involved in a citizen, the way a citizen would deal with these problems. This is the way we need to deal with it. We need to go to the boards. We need to talk to these people and say, you don't have a right to co-parent with us.
Right.
It gets people really thinking about the right way to go about doing these things. Because we have to remember, these people got themselves into these positions of power and put their cronies into the unelected yet appointed positions through the way the system was set up. And so that means that the system can be fixed by using the exact same processes that are still in place. We need to take advantage of it, and then we need to take away the policies and procedures and laws and regulations and everything that they put in place to make sure that they had a leg up over everybody else. So this is part of the house cleaning. Again, we let the government go on autopilot. It's our fault. We need to take accountability for it. And now we need to go let these people, that they either need to fix it or be held accountable for their actions, their decisions in terms of forcing the people to do things against their will and without a proper informed consent. Because I will say that if people were informed by the very people that were pushing these money jabs, that they would have probably denied it, especially if they would have felt like they didn't have to, because there were plenty of people who took these jabs that they gave us. And this is excluding all the jabs that we give our children awfully, terribly. But these other jabs, this is the direction that they're trying to push all of them. It's time for us to stand up and let them know now that we don't accept their crap anymore.
Absolutely. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We got no video.
yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go.
My mouse is being weird today.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Did you try restarting it?
You'll lose everything. You ready?
Yeah.
Interesting facts about the Bible, part 109. Did you know that Barabbas's first name was Yeshua, just like Yeshua the Messiah? If we look at Matthew 27, verse 16, at that time they had a notorious prisoner called Yeshua Bar Abba. You might know him as Barabbas. So when they gathered together, Pilate said to them, "Which one do you want me to release for you? Yeshua, who is Barabbas, or Yeshua, who's called Messiah?" Now, Bar Abba is Hebrew for son of the Father. So there were two Yeshuas. There is actually a very important high holy day that God gave us in Leviticus called Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And for the Day of Atonement, there is a special sacrifice made where there are two goats. In Leviticus 16, starting at verse 5, it says, "Then he is to take from the congregation of Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, 2 he-goats for a sin offering." So 2 male goats for a sin offering. The high priest also has to take a bull for a sin offering for himself. He has to consecrate himself so that he's holy enough to go into the Holy of Holies. If you look at verse 7, it says he's supposed to take those 2 goats and present them before Adonai at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Then they will cast lots for the 2 goats, one lot for Adonai and the other lot for the scapegoat. In verse 9, Aaron is to present the goat on which the lot for Adonai fell and make it a sin offering. But the goat upon which the lot for the scapegoat fell is to be presented alive before Adonai, and it's released into the wilderness. So one dies for the sins, and one is released as a scapegoat. Just as there were 2 Yeshuas, one died as a sin offering, and one was released. Now, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is considered the most important day of the year in all of Judaism because it's the day where you repent of all of your sins, you fast, and you make sure your name is written in the book of life. Then the high priest goes and sprinkles the blood on the Ark of the Covenant for all of Israel to be saved. But there's no longer a physical temple, and there's no longer a working Levitical system with high priests and priesthood anymore. But Leviticus 16 tells us that we're supposed to keep Yom Kippur as a statute forever. But God uses the words forever there. So how can one still keep God's commands? Well, Hebrews 9:11 tells us. "But when Messiah appeared as Kohen Gadol," which means high priest, "of the good things that have now come, passing through the greater and more perfect tent." Now, this is the tabernacle it's referring to. That's what the tent is. "Not made with hands, that is to say, not of this creation. He entered into the holies once for all, not by the blood of goats and calves, like we saw before, where the high priest had to purify himself with the bull and had to sacrifice the goats, but by his own blood, having obtained eternal redemption. For if the blood of goats and bulls and the ashes of a heifer sprinkling those who have been defiled sanctified for the cleansing of the flesh, how much more will the blood of Messiah, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without blemish to God, cleanse our conscience from dead works to serve the living God?" So it says right here, this is how we continue with Yom Kippur. This is how all of the sacrifices continue. Most people don't understand what exactly Paul is saying right here because they don't know what Yom Kippur is. But he's talking about the fulfilling of Yom Kippur. And it is only possible to continue keeping Torah to this day through Yeshua, the Messiah, because there's no other way to continue with those sacrifices.
Thoughts, sir?
Really opened my mind. I never made that correlation about the 2 goats and Yeshua and then Barabbas as well. I remember that he was, Jesus Bar Abbas, but I don't know. I guess I didn't connect those dots. But yeah, what an amazing correlation, and it shows how Yeshua fulfilled the Bible and the Old Testament. Chachi says, "What I really want to know is what happened to the red heifers. They were supposed to sacrifice at the Temple Mount a while back, that everyone made a big deal about." Yeah, I remember that. I remember that there was a lot of the fear prawn,
It just stopped.
and it just absolutely disappeared. And it's good pointing out, because we didn't hear anything. Now I know that a couple of things. One of the problems with the red heifers is that they were genetically modified, which is counter to what the Bible says, but they chose to do that anyways. And then I also know that they have to sacrifice them and then use their ashes and their blood. And then of course they also don't have the temple built either. So I'm gonna say that that was just fear that they were trying to present to help control the masses at that point in time. Remember, when people are in a state of fear, that they aren't thinking so clearly. But other things happened that I think kind of set their plans off. Hey, Chops, what's going on, man?
Got some people showing up
Yeah,
over
people are
at
showing up.
Build.
Yeah, Build's and Fuego tonight.
Fuego. You ready?
Yeah.
This lady
Mhm.
speaks absolute truth.
Okay.
And this is why I get frustrated at a lot of women. You ready?
Okay.
You know why a lot of men laugh at women and treat us like we're idiots? Okay, no, they're not. Majority of men have to deal with women like this. I'm sorry with disrespect, but if majority of men today have to choose to have the mother of their children, to build a life with you, to build a career with you, that you both can build something together for the future, to have a life with you, and you need to deal with somebody that have so many mental issues and so many body count, why would they do it? They'd rather be alone. They don't
Because
have
they
to
give a shit what men think.
I can't hear this, and I'll tell you why. You are mother to children. You're sitting here in the podcast saying, I'm a baby girl, I'm a slave. I don't want to hear this because literally you're disrespecting your kids. You are mother before you are for yourself. You are mother before you're something in this world. Your baby and your kid is the most important thing. You're supposed to protect them, love them, and protect them. It's not put yourself out there and talk about their mother like that because you're humiliating them. I'm embarrassed as a woman to sit in a table with a woman like you.
Thoughts?
Oh, she spoke absolute truth. Absolute truth. Those women sitting over there talking all kinds of noise, talking about how it's all about them. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, wow.
If you didn't want to have kids, then don't have kids. Keep your fucking legs together. How about that, whore? You're damn right. You're damn right. Because I'm sick of these little bitches running out there. Oh, I want this. I want this. I want, oh, me. Go home. Go home and take care of your kids and shut the hell up.
Yeah, make a damn sandwich.
Thoughts?
She brought up a good point, and that is that really it's women like that who end up taking good men and destroying them, so that way they become the very men that they hate. I know that there's a lot of men who have gone through a lot of trauma, and then they recognize, oh, they don't want the good guy, they want the bad boy, and so they force the guys to become the bad boys, and that's really what drives a lot of men to be the very the grown man children that they despise. It's because of a lot of the trauma of abuse of the power of that women carry with them, and that that abuse has led to some of the problems that we have going on today. But at some point in time, and really this is the thing, so that way we can grow, is we have to stop worrying about the things that we don't like and start focusing on the things that we do like. And then we have to recognize what those things that we do like would require in terms of our effort, in terms of growth, so that way we can get to that point. Again, it's about trying to make yourself better, so that way you can bring the good things in life to yourself. Energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla all over again. Wendy says, and interact with your child. Yeah, right. Take the earphones off the 2-year-old's head and take the cell phone away. I have no idea why anybody would let a 2-year-old have a phone. It makes no sense to me. And truly, with as dangerous as the cell phones are,
I'm okay. I just cannot stand women who are completely selfish, and I have an issue with the ones who just want to be spoiled and don't want to take care of their responsibilities.
Well, and they don't understand that they have to be, they're looking what a man can provide. Okay, what can you provide?
Yeah, I love how these
What's
women,
the other half?
I love how these, hold on.
Oh,
Where's
okay.
it at?
Oh, here we
I
go.
love how these women always go, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Well, bitch, what do you bring to the table? Other than big boobs, fake big boobs.
Yes.
Nothing.
Well, and
You're not even, you can't cook, you can't clean, you can't do shit. So what do you bring to the table there, little mama? Go learn something and shut the, sit down. Let the grown people talk. Yes, D, I'm okay. Just a little fired up. The red hair came out.
that red hair is there for a reason. Everything in nature that has red on it, that's a warning sign. Just throwing that one out there. Had I only learned that before, but I have wisdom now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably not the time.
Exactly. If she's bringing you microwave frozen processed garbage, she ain't sitting at my table.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly, Jenny. They can't even cook.
That's one of the beautiful things about everything that's going on is now the women are sick and tired of the women, and the women are telling the women, you need to sit down and shut up and learn some skills.
Carol says that has been an issue in family situation right now. Okay, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Not sorry. I hope you understand
there you go.
that I just can't put up with women who do that.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. You know what, F. Clan? I'm sure big boobs help. But you know what? Cleaning and taking care and cooking is so much more important. And I asked God for big boobs. He said, no, here, have a brain and skills.
Because you're going to need it. Because the world's going to go woke.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You know what? The only way we can learn is to actually have to go through it. You can read all of the wisdom of the past.
That right there. But you know what, Jenny? It's not that when you are like that, when you talk like that, when you treat people like that, you are ugly to the bone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you
Ugly to the bone.
when you feel that the world owes you everything because of some, appendage that you were born with, it's kind of pointless, and it's very shallow and hollow to think that that's what matters in the end. But regardless, we should all be trying to improve, and that's something that a lot of people forgot. A lot of these women, they're upset because they can't find a man who can afford to buy the brand new, Camaro SS, with all the bells and whistles on it. But the problem is that y'all are the ones that kicked all the men out of those jobs and demanded more pay. So yeah, none of them can afford any of that right now because pretty much every dude's either in the trades or they're trying to, just find something in the meantime that, will get the bills paid. It's a backwards, upside down world. We see it, but how else are we supposed to recognize what we really want in life as opposed to what we've been getting? And people are tired of what we've been getting. And now comes that boomerang, but it's not just, the stuff that Q talks about. It's going to be, everything is going to be righted. This is, again, like Q said, it's biblical.
Yep. And Wendy's got a point. Wait till the boobs drop. See, little boobs. Mine don't drop. Thank you very much. They look just fine.
There was a study in France that says that if women don't wear a bra, that they don't sag anymore. Burn your bras, ladies. Life pro tip. Anyways, let's move on.
You ready?
Yes.
Trump accurately explains how to save the decaying American culture. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
But it takes centuries to build the unique character of each state. And we are going to, and when you do that, so the number one rated country is Norway. The number two is like Denmark. And on and on it goes. Spend much less money than we do, and they have the finest education. In New York City, a few years ago with de Blasio, who is one of the worst mayors in history, by the way, he said, we're going to go with the Norwegian system. That didn't work out too well, okay? When they start throwing the teachers out the window, that wasn't working out. They don't do that in Norway. Historically, they haven't thrown too many teachers out the window in Norway, but we're going to make it good. And you know what's going to happen is out of the 50 states, you're going to have 35, like different ones. Iowa will do good. A lot of the states will do very good. I can think of probably 30, 35 will be good, and 5 will be okay, 10 will be okay. You'll have 4 or 5 that will be terrible, but that's okay. We have to control it. But you'll have Idaho. You'll have Idaho will do a great job. They, no debt, no this. They run a great state. A lot of places will have will have education that can compete with Norway and Denmark and this, but we'll have certain places, and it's the same places like Gavin Newsom, who is a terrible governor. You'll probably have a problem in California, but what you do is you give it to the local communities, and they'll have a great educational system. You don't want to give it to somebody like Kamala because she destroyed San Francisco and then destroyed the whole state. But reckless migration policy can change it very quickly, and it can destroy everything in its way, just like we've seen in London and Paris and Minneapolis. Look at what's happened in London. Look what's happening in Paris. If Kamala Harris wins this election, she will flood Pennsylvania cities and towns with illegal migrants from all over the world, and Pennsylvania will never be the same. You will never be the same. When I'm president, all migrant flights to Pennsylvania will stop immediately. By the way, all migrant flights. Not only to Pennsylvania, everywhere. No, but how about they get caught? We just found that out a few months ago. They're saying, no, we're fighting. In the meantime, people are just pouring in. No, we want to do it. And then we learned that the airplanes are flying. That means that, it's just a big con job. Remember this. For a long time, she's been talking about her experience at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's over the French fries. It was so hot. I think I'm going to go to a McDonald's next week someplace. I'm going to go. Might not be in your place. I'm going to go to a McDonald's, and I'm going to work the French fry job for about a half an hour. I want to see how it is. But she said she worked and she grew up in terrible conditions. She worked at McDonald's. It was such. She never worked there. And these fake news reporters will never report it. They don't want to report it because they're fake. They're fake. They don't want to report it. She never worked at McDonald's, but it was a big part of her resume. They went to the different places. Did she work here? Did she work here? Did she work here? She said, we don't know who the hell she is. Leave us alone. We're making hamburgers. We will end the invasion of small-town Pennsylvania, and we will end the destruction of America. It's destroying our country.
All right, there's a couple of things going on there, but he hit the education thing. And that's coming up more and more. And the education is, I think, our biggest problem that we have because we don't have education. And all of the people that I was talking to today, everybody agrees that it's an indoctrination system, that it's not designed to make people think. Even John D. Rockefeller said that he doesn't want smart people. He wants people that can perform tasks, that don't question anything. But that's what our educational system used to be, was to teach people how to question properly, the basics, like who, what, when, where, why, how. And it's not like it's some super skill or anything to be able to understand the 5 W's and an H. But the kids don't understand that. They're not being taught that. They're not being taught rhetoric. They're not being taught logic and reason. And these are the very things that our children need to be taught. So the system that we have for the educational system definitely needs to be brought down to the very foundation. And we need to figure out what we actually need. And what right does the federal government actually have moving forward? Because they've shown that they're irresponsible with our education. And I've thought for a long time that the Department of Education, these departments, they should merely just be an aggregator of information. What is helping kids get smarter? What is preventing kids from getting smarter? What is it that this teacher's doing over in this little town over here versus what is that teacher doing in that little town over there? And what are the results? There's I will say that a lot of the people in the the HVAC class that I'm going through, they go to YouTube University, and that's where we can get, everybody gets trained on something on YouTube anymore. So people have a thirst for knowledge and how they can do things. And that's really one of the biggest diseases that we have is the way kids are taught. And I know that Trump is definitely going to make one of this his top priorities moving forward. And then, he touched on the fake news, and yeah, they're always liars, but they get exposed more and more every day.
They do.
And more people are turning away from the legacy media, and they recognize that it's just a shell of what it was. So
It is.
yeah.
There's Hope. Hey, Hope.
Hey, Hope, what's going on?
You just missed the whole big bra conversation.
Yeah, you missed the booby conversation.
You ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Tucker Carlson disgusted by Josh Shapiro and Volodymyr Zelensky signing artillery shells.
Ready?
Yep.
I actually don't really want to show up in somebody else's state, like attack their politicians, because it's not my state or Commonwealth. But I saw a photograph of your governor, Josh Shapiro, standing with a foreign leader signing an artillery shell that is going to kill civilians in a country we're not at war with a grin on his face. And I had a couple of thoughts. I was disgusted by it, actually. I was enraged by it.
Thoughts?
So Josh Shapiro, just for anybody that doesn't know, is the governor of Pennsylvania. So the point that Tucker Carlson brings up is probably one of the most important points, and that is why is someone putting a note on a munition that's going to be used against human beings that we don't have anything against at this point in time? They haven't done anything to Americans. As a matter of fact, most Americans want absolutely nothing to do with Ukraine or Zelensky. I mean, the guy's got some really nice yachts out of this whole thing.
It's our yachts.
Well, yeah, it's our yachts and, a couple of investment hotels around the world. Yeah, I know. And what was it? Monaco, right?
Yeah. And don't forget the couple of homes in Miami.
Your microphone is turned away.
Don't forget the couple of homes in Miami. Those are ours too.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of that. So why is a governor of one of the states basically signing his name to a declaration of war? So good luck, Pennsylvania. Apparently you're now at war with Russia. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
You can thank your governor.
Exactly.
Make sure you let him know how you feel. I'm sure there's a phone number.
I'm sure there is.
Hey, we're not at war against Russia. Stop trying to start World War III, jackass.
Exactly.
Something like that.
You ready?
Yeah. Maybe a little more,
No, I like jackass.
civil. No, civil. It must be civil.
Yeah. When it's called for. Let's go.
All right.
5 things you should say to God every morning. Number 1, thank you, Lord, for this new day. Psalm 118:24 says, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Begin your day with gratitude for the gift of life and the new opportunities ahead. Number 2, guide me, Lord, in your ways. Proverbs 3:6 encourages us. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Ask God to lead you and direct your steps according to his will. Trust his guidance. Number 3, strengthen me, Lord, for today's challenges. Philippians 4:13 reminds us, I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Seek God's strength to overcome any obstacles you may face. With him, you can conquer anything. Number 4, fill me with your peace and joy. Romans 15:13 says, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him. Ask for his peace and joy to fill your heart, bringing calmness and happiness throughout the day. Number 5. Help me to love others as you love me. John 13:34 instructs, "A new command I give you. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." Pray for a heart that loves others unconditionally, reflecting God's love in all you do. Start your mornings with these 5 prayers and watch how they transform your day.
Thoughts, sir?
Very well done. Nice motivational speech. It was just a single photo, or I guess a watercolor of somebody praying,
Correct.
and that was nice. But the sayings are obviously what the focus of the video was there. You know, it's all about that faith and in our Creator, and then that faith and waiting for his response to show that he's actually listening is kind of the overall arching theme that I was getting there. And really that does seem to be the case. You know, wait on the Lord. Recognize that God is going to get these things taken care of. He will put the right people in the right places to get the right things taken care of, to bring us back into alignment. This is how it happens. And that faith is understanding that it will be taken care of and that we will be okay. Even though we're on the precipice of World War III, you know, whole Red October and everything, it's that faith. Even in Revelations, I said there will be wars and rumors of wars in distant and close lands. But it's also saying that it's, you know, might not necessarily be on your doorstep, but we have to be on guard. And so we recognize that there's a plan. It's going to play out. And we just have to accept that we can only do the part that we have put in front of us at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen says, I get the intent, but not jazzed about lists. Just talk to God and trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's perfect. Yeah. Well said.
Renee's going to put our big on the big screen.
What's that? Time for the big screen.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Renee. Enjoy the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Big face.
She'll probably let me know when she gets home. They left today. So
I think it's way south right now, isn't it?
Yeah, she's still okay.
Yeah, she should be fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
So you think the former president's a bad person, yet all you have is CNN, MSNBC, and ABC talking points. You must ask yourself why the 2 men that attempted to end the life of our former president are connected to BlackRock. Now, I'm not insinuating that BlackRock is connected. I'm telling you they are. BlackRock and Vanguard have their pockets in every industry in the world, not just the United States. And with our former president's America First platform and the promise to end all wars, they stand to lose billions, if not trillions of dollars. Now, if you're part of the Orange Man bad crowd, I implore you to stitch this with audio and visual proof of the things said against him. I implore you to show it coming out of his mouth, not a CNN, MSNBC, or ABC news clipping. The United States is the last defense for all world tyranny, and you're falling right into the trap.
Thoughts, sir. And Aaron, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Aaron says that there was a booby talk earlier. Bring back the booby talk. LOL. JK. Thank you, Aaron. We appreciate you and you know what y'all do for us. And thank you for that. All right. So falling into traps. There's traps everywhere. Stay aware. I mean, like you're going to fall into traps, but the traps that we fall into, I believe, through our faith, is going to keep us from falling into really bad traps.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm a little bit off topic here, but this is it's the statement that really struck me more than anything else, and that is we understand that the traps that they do set for us, the ones that can really hurt us, are going to be the traps that they fall into themselves, and we're seeing a lot of that stuff right now. Those traps that they're putting out there for President Trump through the lawfare, those are coming back. They set those traps, but they're falling into them themselves. And so just be aware and recognize that we'll be fine.
I thought it was funny when he said, if you're part of the Orange Man Bad Club, go do your research.
But they don't.
I know.
How do you make people research?
Exactly.
Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Many traps you. Thank you, Aaron.
You're so silly. Are you ready?
Yes.
A woman, 22 years old in South Carolina, has been charged with homicide because she had a miscarriage.
No, she absolutely was not. The woman you're talking about is Amari Marsh. He was not charged with homicide because she had a fucking miscarriage. She was charged with homicide because she left the child to die in a fucking toilet. That's why. Stop making up these fucking stories. She chose not to have an abortion. She chose to actually go on with the pregnancy. And then when the birth of that child came early, because according to her, she had 6 to 8 sexual partners while she was pregnant, one of which gave her chlamydia, which causes your child to be born early. She gave birth to her child in a toilet. She then called 911, where the 911 operator repeatedly told her to remove the child from the toilet. She did not. She left the child to drown in the fluids of the toilet, so that when paramedics showed up and tried to save the life of the child, they couldn't because the child had already passed away. The arrest warrant spells all this out. It says that not moving the infant from the toilet at the urging of the dispatcher was ultimately a proximate cause of her daughter's death. Warrant also says the cause of death from respiratory complications due to a premature delivery stemming from a maternal chlamydia infection. But hey, don't worry, she got off. And they say that this is a prime example of how pregnancy loss can become a criminal investigation very quickly. How about if you give birth to your child in the fucking toilet? You don't leave it there. Don't leave it there to drown in the fluids. And guys, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I used to be pro-choice. And then after I heard story after story from pro-choice women, y'all have turned me pro-life, because what you are willing to do to children is horrifying. Y'all have made me against abortion. Listening to women who were pro-choice have made me pro-life. That's how horrible y'all are. But no, I don't want to hear fuck all about Amari Marsh. She only had an early pregnancy and only had respiratory problems because she was sleeping with 6 to 8 other people who gave her chlamydia. It's because she gave birth to it in a toilet and let it fucking drown. So shut the fuck up about, oh my God, this Roe v. Wade thing might affect women. You let a child drown in a toilet. I don't give a fuck about what your life is like.
Thoughts, sir?
The abortion debate has certainly heated up.
Yeah.
Of course, granted, now that Roe versus Wade got overturned and the truth came out about Roe versus Wade and the fact that the namesake of the case, she said that she kind of got pushed into that role and didn't really agree with everything that it was, associated with.
Mm-hmm.
It's a debate that needs to be had. It's a debate that's going to bring up a lot of emotions. It's going to be a debate that's difficult to have because in our hearts, it speaks to the fact that it's a life and it should really just be that simple. I get it. But that's not where these people's hearts are. So that means that we have to go out of our way to try to get them to open their heart up to something other than their own fleshly desires. I do not desire to have this child. Therefore, I say that it's not a child and therefore it's taken care of. I used to be pro-abortion as well, and I have since changed. And I will say that that's because I started to have my heart opened up to what's really going on. And I will say that I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and I remember seeing it, a few years ago, and that was the egg being fertilized and that flash of lights that is there. I will say that the heartbeat and brain waves, the heartbeat's at 8 days, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8 days. So really that's the standard for life is brain waves and heartbeats. And I think a brain wave is the first ones in like the first day or two, if I'm not mistaken. So if these are the indicators of life, if these are the reasons why we won't pull the plug on an adult that is in a comatose kind of state, then that means that we shouldn't pull the plug on this little child. And we're talking about within the first 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go with at point of fertilization, then really we shouldn't have this. And then we played that video a little while back about the fact that what separated the United States back after the revolution, our first, one of our first Supreme Court justices, I wish I could remember his name. Anyways, he made that very argument that that's what separates the United States from all of Europe, because they're okay with that. So have your little abortion tourism and go to Europe if that's what the Europeans want. But that's not what America is. And America's going back to our principles that
Morals.
and our morals that made us the United States, that we decided that we didn't need to be that United States anymore, but we could still beat our chest as if we were still that United States.
Too many people use that as abortion or as birth control.
As birth control. And that's the real problem.
Bullshit.
Yeah. You know, I
I'm not
say,
gonna get fired up again, but someone who's had 7 miscarriages, all I can say is, I hope you have the fucking life you deserve.
okay. Obviously, you're spicy today.
I am.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, let's move on.
You ready?
Yep.
How about some Sean Ryan?
All right.
Do you think we should have ever been there in the first place?
Mm-mm. I think there's no benefit to fucking taking Saddam out. I also thought there was no benefit. You know, Afghanistan, Mullah Omar came out years later and said, George Bush gave us 48 hours and invaded at hour 40. He said if he would have gave me full 48 hours, his answer was give up bin Laden.
No shit, I did not know that either.
The shit the fucking media doesn't like to put out.
How do you know that?
Because I read.
Where did you read that?
Oh, man, I don't even remember. But yeah, he wanted to give up bin Laden, and we attacked too soon, and then he was like, fuck him.
Interesting. It's almost like we wanted the war.
Imagine that. Now, I wanted the war too, don't get me wrong. I was 100% for that shit. Rocket, mortars, fucking send it. Let's go. No one dies on Bragg, you know? So I was all for it, but strategically, man, you believe in your bosses. Sometimes they get it wrong, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Did you experience loss of a teammate ever?
Yeah, fuck yeah, all the time. Even in training, man, like, man, the guy I was partnered with in Bosnia all the time, fucking rotor blade took the top of his head off one night, like Thursday night live fire, you know?
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, people die.
Did that affect you at all?
No.
It did.
Fucker, you died doing what you love? I'd fucking high-five you for that. I'd high-five myself for that. You know what I mean? Like, you died doing the one thing you're here for. Not a better death.
How many teammates have you lost?
Fuck, I don't know, man. So many now. Fucking cancer.
Cancer.
If you'd have told me join the Delta Force and be fighting cancer the rest of your fucking time, or your buddies are going to die of cancer. I made a state in South America banging Colombian girls. You know what I mean? So lots of guys, everybody dies. I'm going to die. I'm not going to let it ruin my day. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where did you run into Tim Kennedy?
Yeah, so I left the unit. I was kind of like in the SIF company. We really hadn't broke down into troops yet, so I was a team sergeant, Timmy's team sergeant. Well, before that, I was in the dojos at Bragg for something to do at night as a single guy. Just go down to the dojos at Bragg and just fucking roll jits with people. And then back then, being a blue belt, like they're like, "Oh, sir, are you teaching today?" Like, hell no, I just came here to choke some of you lazy fuckers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not teaching shit, you know? And they're like, and the instructor back then was a fucking purple belt. You know what I mean? Like, so like this kid's in the dojo and literally like, he's just fucking sitting on me. And I'm like thinking, this ain't a move. How the fuck do I defend that? Do I put a foot? Like, do I lock a, what the fuck? And he's just kind of like sitting on me like, come on, yeah, do something. Yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm like, who the fuck is this kid sitting on me? So then that happens a couple times. And finally I'm like, hey, who the fuck are you? Where did you learn jets? Like, no one around here is at this level. You know what I mean? Like, where do you come from? And he said, grew up in California, fighting Chocolate Dell, right? His backstory. So he tells me that, and I was like, fuck, man. I was like, you're in the Q course. What group? Do you know what group you're going to or where you're going? Like, where are you at in the kind of like the pipeline or whatever they call it? And he was like, no, it's kind of early on in the process. So I was like, well, I'm in the SIF company. How would you like to come to the SIF company? And of course, like, it's the most advanced company. You can't just get there as a new guy at the time.
Thoughts, sir.
So, one of the things that I needed to bring up in terms of Iraq, which is an absolute nightmare disaster for this nation. But back in 2008, 30% of the people said that they were suffering. In 2022, it was 18. In 2008, 10% of the people said that they were thriving. Now it's 19. So things have gotten better. Now, keep in mind that's 2 years after the war had already begun, or actually, no, 5 at that point in time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, that just hit me.
It was just so long. All of it was so long ago. But anyways,
I know we realized today that you've been retired for 9 years. It's like, what? How did what?
Yeah.
What? How did that happen?
Anyway, we can always look back and second guess and armchair quarterback what could have, should have happened in Iraq. I think what happened in Iraq was exactly what was supposed to happen in Iraq in a big picture kind of way. And the reason why I say that is that Saddam Hussein was installed, kind of like some other world leaders that you may have heard of.
Like Zelensky?
Well, I mean, yeah, him too,
Yeah.
Starts with a B, ends with an Iden,
I know.
all these
I
people
know.
installed. So they were, he
Can't
was,
talk.
he was supported by some nefarious unknown organization that got him in place there. And of course, then he was very important during the Iran-Iraq war, or the Iran and Iraq war between the two of them, which reduced their population significantly and set their mindset to nothing but warfare. So this was bound to happen, and that was going to come back on everybody who which nations took part in that. So I'm going to say that there's some karmic cleansing going on with the whole Iraq thing. Aaron says Saddam was installed and removed when he called Bush on his BS. And that's what it boils down to is that there were a lot of backroom communications. He was, I believe that he was kind of pushed into a direction, which I think can easily happen to anybody, especially when there's the resources. Tonight's show is brought to you by the letter F. Thank you, D. Anyway.
Not all of them.
Afghanistan. And then the statements that guy was making in that interview about Afghanistan, about he was given 48 hours to agree to turn over bin Laden, but Bush only gave him 40 hours. Yeah, I mean, ex post facto, after the fact, you can say pretty much anything you want. But these were things that we had to find our way out of. And they're also helping each and every American realize the true cost of war and about the fact that, is it really helping anything? Is it really helping anybody?
No.
Yes, it is. The military industrial complex, helping them just fine.
Then.
Yeah. And of course, they're friends. Anyways, Chachi says, where'd all that Iraqi gold go? Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it?
Bye, Lily.
Bye, Lily. Where'd the gold go? I mean, there's a lot of things. And I think that as we make our way through this and Obamagate and the Bush's connection, both Daddy and Junior, and Clinton's and company, once all of that comes out, I think that we will know where the gold went. And I do think that that America has taken that back, and that it will be used to help us get back on the gold standard.
I love that.
Thoughts?
I mean, I don't have any because you're the one that's been there, done that. So At the time before I was awake, I thought, we needed to do this.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was the same way.
But, I just, after losing, people that I
Four
consider
brothers.
to be family, my mind has changed.
Yeah, mine has changed a lot. A lot of growth has occurred because of these terrible things that have happened.
That you had.
Well, the changes that I had were probably to make me better in the end. Funny how that works out. Go through lots of pain and suffering, and then you turn to God, and then your life somehow improves.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
So D, we're going to get away from the letter F, and you'll like this video. Let's go.
All right.
The enemy is always attacking your peace. And let me show you how he does this. A lot of times it's your alone time. It's when you can deflate. You're in your car by yourself, or you go to bed at night, and all of a sudden you have a painful experience come into remembrance. It is a traumatic experience. It is when somebody's lied about you, or a debate, or a hurtful experience, or a hurtful comment. And now you find yourself reliving that. Well, guess what? Your body's reliving it. Your blood pressure is going up. So why does the enemy do that? It's his nature. Steal, kill, and destroy. What's being stolen? Your peace. This is the time, a lot of times, the Holy Spirit is going to give you that answer that you've been praying about. He's going to give you a better way of doing something. And now the enemy has come in and provided a distraction. Be aware of this. Don't get caught up in that. See, when you keep your mind fixed upon the Lord, he will keep you in perfect peace. What I like to do is I picture Jesus standing in front of me with his hand extended, giving me the motion to come on, follow me. I'll show you the way. I'll show you the path. I'll show you the life that I've planned for you. To my chosen ones out here, if you find yourself being berated constantly with negative thoughts or reliving trauma in your life, the enemy is doing this because it's a predictable outcome. He knows how you're going to respond to this. If you allow the enemy to do this to you, he will eat your lunch and pop the bag.
Stephen says, before I say thoughts, I really enjoy this guy. So glad you all introduced him. Totally anchored and real, encouraging. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Justin is amazing. And if you guys are on TikTok, please follow him.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, every single time he causes introspection and makes me think about my life choices and what's going on presently, so that way I can, fix my relationship with the world around me. Now, again, this goes back to the faith and not to worry. And really, with the worry, it raises your blood pressure. You're bringing tomorrow's problems today. And so we can't worry. So what do we do with that worry? We go to God with it, and we lay at his feet, and we say, we need your help with this because we can't do anything with it. And then, our worries, or at least mine, I can't speak for anybody else, but at least my worries go, away. They may not be gone, but they go away. And I also, the more you do this practice, I guess it's a practice, the more you do this practice of putting your faith in God, the more you sit back, the easier it gets to sit back and wait for the Lord to show you the way he is going to make things unfold. And some things may take longer than others, and that's fine, because that patience and perseverance that we get out of it are the very things that make us, grow closer to our Creator. So all of these life exercises that we go through, and then we get challenged while we're in the middle of that, telling us we're not worthy, that we don't have this or that or the other capability. Oh, this person's going to do better because of X, Y, or Z. That is not our Creator talking to us. That is the enemy talking to us. That's the enemy telling us that we're not worthy, that we're not going to have these things happen, that everything's going to be miserable. And that's not the case, because we know that God can overcome anything and everything. And that if we put our faith in him, he is not going to ruin his good name because he didn't like something you did once upon a time, which is counter to the very thing that we understand God to be, that he is a forgiving God, especially since he gave us his son as the scapegoat for all of us. And I guess that makes us the Jesus Barabbas that we get to go into the wilderness again. But whatever. Anyways, yeah, spitballing here.
Yeah. Carol says, I get tired of fixing myself. I just want to be enough right now. I understand.
I understand that. And it's the being enough right now is a choice in your head, and it may not feel like it. And sometimes, it might even feel insulting to have somebody say that, but it is a choice. It's like, you know what? I am going to tell these negative thoughts that go into and pop through my head that say that all of these negative things are going to happen. And I have to say, no, I am created perfectly in the way he wanted me to be. And so therefore, I have to recognize that I'm enough for my creator. And that is the only person that matters. And if other people make you feel like you're not enough, then those are people that really need to have either a come to Jesus meeting or a separation of time and space. Can be helpful.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
And the videos of Justin that I don't play on the show, which I play a lot of his videos on the show because he really is just encouraging and amazing. But the ones that I don't play on the show, I'll start putting them in the Telegram for you guys who don't have TikTok so you can still see them. Boom.
Boom.
You ready?
Did you want a boom?
No.
Okay.
You
get a boom.
Ready?
Yep.
You want to read that, please?
Yes. Vani Hari, U.S. government is letting food companies get away with serving harmful chemicals.
Ready?
Yes. Thanks, Stephen.
Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Even worse, American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here. It's un-American. Let me give you some examples of McDonald's French fries. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is used as a foaming agent so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. But they don't do that across the pond. This is Skittles. Notice the long list of ingredient differences.
Taste the rainbow.
10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade. General Mills is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that when the US version still does. This is why I became a food activist. My name is Vani Hari, and I only want one thing. I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies. In the last 60 years, almost all food additives were being created for one sole purpose: to improve the bottom line of the food industry and not improve our health. These chemicals were created to mimic real food, to make it easier and cheaper for food manufacturers to preserve their food, to make it last longer on the shelf, to help manufacturing, and sinister of all, to allow them to create products that are more addictive in nature. I ended up quitting my lifelong career as a corporate management consultant to investigate and write about food full-time. During my investigations, I found an alarming discovery. We use over 10,000 food additives here in the United States, and in Europe, there's only 400 approved. We were able to get Subway to remove azodicarbonamide from their bread in the United States after another successful petition. And as a bonus, there was a ripple effect, and almost every bread manufacturer in America followed suit. I want to make an important point here. Ordinary people who rallied for safer food, shared this information, and signed petitions were able to make these changes. We did this on our own. But isn't this something that the people in Washington, our elected politicians, should be doing? We deserve the same safer ingredients other countries get. We cannot allow our own American companies to treat us this way anymore. We've had enough. It's unethical, and it needs to stop.
Thoughts, sir?
So, our food is poison.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, surprised. But it's just merely to wake up other people, and these are things that people need to understand. I mean, you can sit there and you can tell people about bioengineered, food labels on the food, but they're still going to buy it because it's what we're used to. It's too much of a pain in the keister to try and make everything. When's the last time anybody's tried to make some homemade cinnamon toast crunch? I mean, I know there's recipes out there, but it's things that we get used to. It's that comfort, especially when there's all this chaos creating all this stress. It's difficult to give up some of these things that we're really used to on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I used to like cinnamon toast crunch, but these poisons that they're feeding us, people need to know about that. And the fact that it's illegal in Europe, since all of these, the blue state kind of people are all about how great Europe is, then why aren't they going out of their way to make sure that our food laws are at least congruent with what Europe has? It's something that it would be nice to believe that the government would be beneficial to us, but at the same time, this is what happens when we let the government take control over our lives. This is why we have to be more active in our own food production. And if that's going to a farmer's market, then so be it. But we need to make sure that we have to be the ones that are responsible for the food that we ingest. And I think that that's one of the things that people are really going to wake up to. I think home economics is going to make a comeback.
Yeah.
And not just for girls. Everybody needs to know how to cook. Everybody needs to know how to patch up jeans or whatever it is. I think that everybody needs to know, how many, pints are in a cup, how many cups are in a quart, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the things that, everybody needs to know. So that way you can make your own food. Otherwise, we're providing a disservice to our children because they don't even know how to cook for themselves. Chachi says, I tell you what, with all the poisons they've been using on us, when Maha happens, Americans will be like superhumans. Snake handlers get stronger immunity from coming into contact with so much venom. And I agree with you, Chachi. I think that in the end, I think it's going to harden our body's resistance to these poisons, which is going to be necessary because it's just in the water system, and it's going to take us a long time to figure out how to clean all of it up. D says, if I can't pronounce it, I don't eat it. Yeah, I know, Carol. I know. Thank you for catching that.
She got you.
Yeah, she got me.
You ready?
Words are hard.
I know. You want to read this, please?
See, that's why we need home economics.
I know. Let's read.
Alex Jones, Democratic Party politicians. They look like a demonic spider sucked their life force out.
Ready?
Yeah.
Democrat Party politicians, they look like a demonic spider sucked their life force out. So these are...
Wait. I'm sorry. I want you to stop. When you look at a Democratic politician, they look like a demonic spider sucked their life force out. I just want to acknowledge that as a great description.
And you've been around them in person, so have I. I mean, the vibes, 20 feet from Hillary, you repel. It's up there like jack-o'-lantern. I can't even make face. I mean, horrifying, and they're slithering around, and I mean, it's like, and then God bless her soul, Sheila Jackson Lee or whatever just died. Before she did, she gets up and she goes, I saw that eclipse. It almost burned up the moon. We know the sun's the same size of the moon, and the moon is hollow and glows. A lot of them aren't even evil, but they're dumber than hell. And the globalists are counting on that.
Thoughts?
That was a flat Earth reference.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
All right. I guess the flurfers are gonna get put in with the Democrats now somehow, some way, whatever. Anyways, yeah, the demonic spiders suck the life force out of him. That's probably not a bad descriptor.
His impression of Hillary was pretty spot on.
That's pretty good. I liked it. Yeah, that's pretty spot on.
It was pretty amazing. Got any thoughts or
No.
Okay.
No, I got no thoughts.
Read this, please.
Alex Jones is Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Illegal alien with criminal record drove drunk. Oh, are we allowed to say illegal alien?
Yes.
Or am I
but
supposed to
don't
call
give
him something else?
I don't give a shit.
All right. I just don't want to piss off our
I don't care.
digital superiors.
Overlords.
Yeah, digital overlords. Anyways, what's up, Agent Smith? Hope you're having a good day. Illegal alien with criminal record drove drunk and killed St. Louis police officer David Lee.
Ready?
Suspect has been charged after the death of St. Louis police officer David Lee. This man right here, Ramon Chavez Rodriguez, now charged with driving while intoxicated, resulting in the death of a law enforcement officer. Chief investigative reporter Lauren Traeger first learned his name yesterday. Lauren has spent so much time digging into these new charges and, Lauren, his past for us here.
Yeah, that's right, Claire. This is a big update here. The suspect we know is 24 years old and does have a rap sheet. According to court documents, he's also been living in the country illegally for quite some time, and that is certainly raising some serious questions in all of this. So we want to give you some information about his past record. Back in 2020, Chavez Rodriguez was charged with domestic assault and DWI for an incident in St. Charles County. At the time, court records said he was in the country illegally from Honduras, and documents also said he had a prior alcohol-related offense as well. He is actually still on probation for that case, though his probation records say he's pretty much always been in compliance. He actually would have been eligible to get off probation as early as next month. Now, though, we know he is now charged in this tragic case. St. Louis police say Officer David Lee was working a separate accident on Interstate 70 when Chavez Ramirez lost control of his vehicle and hit Officer Lee, and according to court records, pinned him against two vehicles, then threw him several feet. Lee later died at a local hospital. Chavez Rodriguez stayed on the scene, was arrested. A blood test, according to documents, found him to be over the legal limit. They also collected a recorder from his vehicle, investigators did, which clocked him going 16 miles over the speed limit there just 5 seconds before the crash.
Thoughts, sir?
The loss of life in this whole thing is going to be the most disturbing part, especially when it's more than likely a great police officer that lost their lives because of not only a DUI, which is already a preventable crime, but also it was done to an officer. And it's these people already have a hard enough of a time without having to worry about people who aren't even supposed to be here to begin with. And then to be charged over, years. Why was he still here? Why aren't these things being fixed? I mean, we already know the answer. I get it. These are rhetorical questions. But I'm going to say that these are the questions that we need answers to. These are the things that are just absolutely frustrating and really a crying shame. Literally a crying shame. Someone lost their life. Someone lost their life who cared about their community enough to put their life at risk to stop crime. And yet the very crimes that they would love to be prosecuting, i.e. people who are here illegally, doing illegal things, surprise, surprise, people who come here and the first act that they do is an illegal action.
They probably shouldn't be here.
And we're surprised that they're going to do more things that are illegal? So are we a nation of laws or not? I look forward to the day when these things get fixed.
Me too.
Anyway.
Because he had a family.
Yeah.
And now they don't have a dad.
Yeah.
Or husband.
And St. Louis probably lost one of the great ones.
Yep.
It's only the good ones that die young.
I know.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
I got Kelly. We need Kelly.
Yes, we do.
All right, so you gave your life to Jesus. You stopped following the world, started following his word. But then what happened? Life started getting so hard, didn't it? I mean, it almost feels like life was easier before I had Jesus. Does that even make sense? Look, if you feel like that today, let me help you out. You see, the reason that it feels like life got harder after you came to Jesus is because you have an enemy now. And he's real. Think about it like this. If you were to go deer hunting and you saw a dead deer on the ground, would you shoot it? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Why? Because you're looking for one that's alive, right? It works the exact same way with you and your enemy. You see, before you gave your life to Jesus, you were like that dead deer on the ground. You had no life in you, no power, no nothing. You didn't pose any threat to your enemy. However, once you gave your life to Jesus, my friends, oh, you became a threat. Now there's a target on your back. Of course, life's going to get harder when you come to Jesus. Your enemy hates you. He doesn't want to see you walk in the call that God's spoken over your life. He doesn't want to see you gaining access to the promise God gave you. So he's going to do all he can to stop you. We need to stop getting mad at God when life gets so hard. That means you're doing something right. So let me encourage you today. I don't know what you might be going through, but I do know this. It's evidence of the power that lives inside of you. It's proof that the devil is scared of you. So hold your head up high today. God's not punishing you. He's not mad at you. Your enemy's just scared of you. But my Bible says he's already been defeated. And what he's trying to use to destroy you today is the exact same thing that God's going to use to build you up, to bless you, and lead you into your promised land. And think about that for a minute.
That, sir.
Needed that lighter mood. So, obviously, we're going to get tried when we turn to God. And I believe that those trials are not God, but those trials are also the exercises. That's the test. Those are the tests. Are you going to be able, if the problems that are coming to you are supernatural, I guess, for lack of a better word, then the help should also come from a supernatural source. And that would help our faith grow because we recognize that these attacks, are happening, and they wouldn't be happening otherwise, other than the fact that we have built our faith and now we are being attacked, which makes us question our faith. We should never question our faith. What we should question is how is God going to do this? And sometimes just looking for the answer, waiting for the answer, waiting for the deliverance from these problems is the very thing that we should be doing. And it's again a way to grow more and more. It can upset us. Okay, so after Kay's accident, which should have never happened because the individual had their license taken away 10 years beforehand for inability to continue to drive, and so. Surprise, surprise, somebody didn't follow the law, but people also want their freedom, stuff like that. So no harm, no foul, no hard feelings or anything. But it's these problems that we need to seek that deliverance from, I guess is what I'm getting at. And so it created I guess you could say kind of a post-traumatic stress disorder where, going through certain intersections really concerns Kay. And so she has to build her faith back up for something that she, was just.
I still have trouble going through that intersection.
Well, yeah.
Still to this day.
And the fact that people drive like freaking idiots all over the place. They all, got a bad case of head of pass syndrome, and they aren't even paying attention to the cruise missile that they're driving around. And can obviously make people lose their lives. Many people. We just watched the video about the police officer. So we have to rely on our Creator to recognize that these people will not harm us as we're driving around, but we will be tested and tried because people are still going to be on their cell phones when they're driving. How many times have we seen people reading the newspaper, not in a Tesla, reading the newspaper when they're on the freeway?
Oh, I have a better one. Today, lady was eating toast, putting mascara on.
And so these are things that when you've been in a nasty accident or something like that, you see these things and it makes you, worry about what's going on around you. And that's I guess the point of all of this is this is, just something as simple as driving around and holding back that anger about the recklessness that these people exhibit as they're driving around. We have to recognize that we will be delivered from their stupidity, and they will be given warnings in a supernatural-ish kind of way, I guess you could say, to change their ways. And if they don't pay attention, then that's when, I guess, karma takes over, air quotes there, karma. And so this is how we watch things unfold, and this is how people learn. And I hope all that kind of tied together.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good. Or eating sushi with chopsticks. Bowl of poke. Got to hold the bowl.
I mean, they don't realize that they're driving around a cruise missile.
Well, yeah. Like people really don't get it. They really don't get it.
They really don't. Oh my goodness. You ready?
Yeah.
See, exactly, Aaron. People are dumb. And you know what? I want to go like knock on their window when they're doing all this, and especially when they're on their phone, and say, if you were that damn important, you'd have a driver. Put the damn phone down.
Put your phone down. Yeah.
You want to read that?
Yes. As if we didn't need another reason to get Donald Trump elected, Michael Cohen. Oh, there was actually a Delta for Michael Cohen today.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even see this.
What do you think happens to you if he wins?
Well, I'm out of here. I mean, I'm already working on a foreign passport with a completely different name. I don't know how it's going to work as far as dealing with my wife and my children. I certainly don't want them moving to where I'm looking to go. But I don't think yourself, the president of MSNBC, General Milley, Liz Cheney, how many people has he turned around and said that these are people that I intend to go after if I have the ability to? And the worst is the Supreme Court's recent decision that gave him immunity, presidential immunity. Now he thinks it's not only is it I can do whatever I want, but I can't even be prosecuted. To get out of jail free card solely for the president.
So you're out of here. You'd leave the country.
I have no choice.
Unbelievable state of being. Michael Cohen.
I'll still be available to you, but by remote.
Right, by encrypted remote. Thank you for spending time with us today.
It's always good to see you.
Somewhere. You've been right about everything.
Yeah. Everything in your everything in the world that you want to be true.
Thoughts?
Getting his passport, changing his name. No, nothing weird about that. Obviously, they're going to gaslight Trump and say that Trump is going to do these things. Again, they're trying to set a narrative for what people are seeing. And this is sheerly done to try to create division between the people and cause civil unrest between groups of American citizens who disagree on what the truth is. But their efforts are failing more and more every day. They, the legacy media is losing people every single day because people are seeing their lies, and they're seeing them prop these actors up. But all forms of the word there, propping these actors up in terms of trying to spread their narrative, so that way, feel bad for me because they're going to be really mean. Orange man bad. And that's the amount of people who side with the truth at this point in time far outweighs those who believe the lie. And once it comes to that head that they're obviously trying to bring us to, where we have to deal with the issues and we don't have any other choice, scare event, basically, that is when those who believe the lie will recognize that they are such a small minority that a lot will reconsider their ways at that point in time, because so many of them are just along for the bandwagon because they believe the bandwagon is right, and they're going to find out that they're wrong, and they will see the light. And that's something that is happening, is people are waking up to the truth more and more every single day. Every single day it's still happening. So rejoice in that. And people like this, yeah, they can try to run and hide. They even said in the Q post that Barry's going to try to claim Kenyan citizenship, even though he supposedly wasn't born in Kenya. But that's another story altogether. You know, the justice is coming, which is another Q post for today. All right. Chachi says, nowhere to run now. DJT got all the big important world players on retainer. And I agree with you 100% there as well. Good night, Wendy.
Good night, Wendy. Enjoy your class.
Yeah, have a good class. He has all the big important world players. China, Russia, BRICS. They're not going to be able to run. And those countries they're going to recognize that they will be ostracized like Iran supposedly has been, but they won't get the benefit of having the swamp provide them all this money. So what's the value of that?
Right.
They're going to find themselves all alone.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You have to read this one. It's just a picture thing.
Okay. American sniper Chris Kyle was unalived by a man named Eddie Ray Routh. Let that one sink in. What is it with the last name of Routh?
That's very interesting.
That is interesting, isn't it?
It is.
And let's see. Routh name meaning, just so you know, means rough ground. Just curiosities.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ready?
Rough ground. Mm-hmm.
I got your favorite guy. Well, I don't know if he's your favorite guy, but you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and just going to put us on the big screen too.
Whoop,
Go
whoop.
ahead.
Yeah, got big head.
Enjoy watching on the big screen.
Enjoy watching. Yeah, and sorry about the food.
You ready?
Yes.
Man, I'm tired of soft Christians. We need to really step up and do something. Man, shut up and spread the gospel. You're not a better Christian just because you're mad. You're a weaker person because you're leaning more into that. Because every time you get pissed off about every little thing, you constantly quote Jesus flipping the tables in the temple, but you don't even quote it right. Spread the gospel. You are not so horribly persecuted that you can't do that. You're more than likely just a regular person giving into their anger. Spread the gospel. It's more than enough. You want to do something? Do that. Do what your Lord, God, and Savior has commanded of you. And if you don't want to do that, I don't really care what you want to do. Okay? Go be mad in the corner while some of us are trying to tell people about the light. And we're not going to focus on, oh my gosh, they're doing all this terrible stuff. Spread the gospel. If the world is so dark, be the light. If you don't want to be the light, then go over with the rest of the darkness. My goodness. God bless, my friend.
Thoughts, sir.
Focus on what's important, and that's spreading the good news. The good news, the light, is what makes the dark go away. So spread the light. That in the end, that's what's going to fix everything. Is the fact that there is this darkness. We recognize that, and we can talk about the darkness because that darkness gives people a comparison and contrast to what the light actually brings. Now that people are seeing the darkness, they will want to gravitate to the light. So merely bringing up all the problems isn't a beneficial thing. You know, you got to say to people, look, the Bible is real. You know, read the book. Oh, but religion, this isn't religion. Read the book, get your own relationship. That's what's going to make you feel better about what's going on. It's going to make you understand that there really is darkness versus light. You see this darkness, right? Yeah. Okay. Do you think there's something opposite to that? Is there anything that's in the universe that doesn't have something that's a counterbalance to it? If there's dark, How can you know it's dark if there is no light? How can you know what light is if you don't know what dark is?
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. There's two sides to every coin.
There is.
And so it's getting people to see the darkness. Do you see the darkness? Yes, I see the darkness. That's very scary. Yes, good. Let me tell you about the light now and how it can help you not worry about the darkness. How we can all overcome this without having this nightmare disaster scenario with whatever the hell the UN's doing now, trying to set up some new crap, whatever they're doing, so that way they can take over. Sorry, your United Nations means nothing above and beyond my Constitution.
They took my video down about Kim Clement talking about that, so I got to find another one.
Of course they took that down.
Ghost Pepper in the house.
What's up, Ghost Pepper? Thanks for joining. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Not Dr. J. Varma getting caught once some sex tapes get released. Having some sex parties. P. Diddy Part 2. Hey, wait a minute. Weren't you the guy that was dictating to Americans how we should be living? Aren't you one of the guys that helped put restrictions on how Americans should be living in the name of safety, but you over here doing this shit? You kind of remind me of Nancy Pelosi. Remember when she had okayed the lockdown of San Francisco and California, but then go gets her hair did? Yeah, it's kind of like that one governor, too. What's her name? Whitmore Richard, whatever her name is, locked down her state, but then wants to go on vacation in another state, restriction free. Kind of like AOC when AOC was mandating and following up the fact that people had to show a vaccine card to go in certain restaurants and stores. The man fought backing up a mandate to wear a mask, but then goes down to Florida and live life restriction free. Y'all remember that? I remember that. See, these motherfuckers got the rules for thee, but not for me bullshit. And I find it a little bit ironic that this news breaks not too long after Kamala Harris and Joe Biden want to give our freedom and sovereignty over to the UN and the WHO in the name of safety. In case another pandemic hits, they can come in and tell us how to be living. And we can't say shit about it. So they can do shit like this. Are y'all waking up yet, motherfuckers? Jay Varma, you nasty motherfucking P. Diddy fuck. I said what I said.
I love Lou.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Again, these are all leading all of the world and America down a certain path. It just looks like a path at this point in time, the way everything's getting pointed out, the way things are being set up so that way we can see the corruption that all of these corrupt politicians on all sides, it's not just one, that these corrupt politicians are being exposed for the things that people were just merely pointing out, but the press wasn't talking about. Now, granted, the press isn't talking about it, but there is exposure and they're trying to set their narrative, and people don't believe the press anymore. Think about how many people sat around and watched the legacy media during the pandemic, right? That is what happened. And then that's when people started to wake up and realize that they were being lied to. There has to be more to this. And so people started doing some research, and they're going to try the same thing again, but it's like battle hardened veterans. Everybody that's been through the Rona and was fighting before have now convinced enough people to recognize the lie that was, and so now more and more people are not going to comply. More people are going to tell that greeter at the World of Wally to go F themselves. Today's message was brought to you by the letter F, because you can't make me wear that. It is a mandate, and I don't date men. Don't know what to tell you.
You don't? Good.
You know that.
Just making sure.
Steven says, seems as if truth is no longer dripping, but flooding, and they can't escape it. 100%. 100%.
We love you too, Wendy. Enjoy your class.
Yeah, enjoy, Wendy. They can't escape it. That's why they're having to put their narrative out. That's why they're saying, oh, I have to go get a secret name in some undisclosed foreign nation and get a passport, and so that way I can hide. that's a reaction to something that they no longer have control over. And so they're trying to, I guess, utilize the amount of control that they do have, which is to escape the problem. We talked about it yesterday. Why do rats leave a ship? Rats leave a ship because it's sinking. And that's what the rats are doing. But they tried to sink it. They just don't know that they can save it, or that it can be saved. They just don't have the ability to save it. They know it, so they have to run.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Mandates are not laws, Jenny. You are absolutely correct. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to love this. This is like one of the best videos I've seen all week. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
They put a vote Democrat sign right above the damn shop. And that one right there is still available. So, should we do something?
Somebody put up a video.
Yeah,
wait, because for the people who are driving,
or people that
somebody
can't
put
watch right
up-
now, yeah.
put up a billboard that said "Vote Democrat" right above this shop, and they didn't like that.
There were two billboards, one on top of the other one. The top
Yeah.
billboard said "Vote Democrat," so they called the owners of the billboard company, and so they put up a sign underneath it, a billboard just underneath it, which said, "Just kidding,
Vote Republican.
vote Republican,
MAGA."
And so it's a beautiful marketing campaign that really is a tough one to beat. And it will be just as catchy as those, what were they called? The Burma Shave advertisements. Everybody knew about the Burma Shave advertisements because of the way the marketing was done. They still use Burma Shave to explain how good marketing is done. And I will say that something like this is probably something that should be in the marketing schools about how you can counter a terrible, I guess, attack against whatever your not company. What do you want to say? Words are hard. Your business, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know the
business.
thing. Come on, man.
The thing.
You know
the thing at the place.
No.
You know.
No, it's straight Biden. You know the thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're silly.
Yeah.
How's some sassy?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Earmuffs.
Make your shit up. Democrats give me hemorrhoids. Hey, you ain't heard of their Democratic political office bullet hole shot through it. Just want to compare that to what happened to Trump. Political violence is out of control. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Give a damn when it happened to Trump. I'm gonna do like y'all. Where's my Rosie O'Donnell glasses? I'm Republican Rosie. You see how I used to be relevant? Are we really sure this happened? Anyone check Kamala's ear? Make sure you look at both faces. Yeah, I'm not sure that's a bullet hole. Yeah, I could have done that with a screwdriver. Just shut the fuck up, or you ain't gangster. Candace Owens is right. You ain't a lot of things. Shut the fuck up. This happened in the middle of the night. It's only a political assassination. It happens during business hours, or you're actually there. Nobody was there. The fuck shall you shut? You're 0 for 2. In more ways than one. This building was been shot twice in 2 weeks. Are the shooters blind? Know what time nighttime is? Are they dumber than a doornail? Don't know how to read business hours? I think it's pretty clear. These incidents ain't on the same level. And the first incident, done with a fucking BB gun. Pellet gun. Don't you dumbasses think if they wanted to hurt somebody, they do it during business hours? You see how the politicians got to be there? Call it political violence. If I run over a sign that says Harris Wall, you gonna call that political violence? No, that's dumb as hell. Your brain set on midnight. Autopilot, snooze control. Democrats just slobber when you walk. Trump. There's nobody trying to take this woman's life. Situation ain't the same. Shut the fuck up. Thugs doing damage, trying to rob the place. Or you know. Democrats feeling left out. It look like the exact narrative they be pushing. Like Kamala hanging out there. This is all bullshit, you ask me. That's my opinion. Ain't nobody gonna go after somebody doing damn nothing anyway. You're gonna go after her own people. That's only one's crazy enough to try to shoot somebody. Kamala, you ain't fucking Donald Trump. You're a bitch. You ain't a bad bitch. Nobody's trying to get you, girl. Ain't even worth getting. Hey, wasting the powder. Okay. You watch and see. Well, somebody work there did it. Quit trying to be like your daddy. Trump 2024.
Thoughts?
Is Kamala trying to say that she's a... Oh.
Uh-huh.
Me too.
Me too.
Hashtag Kamala too.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that special?
Yes. They are not the same. You want to see something really
What-
good before I let you move on?
Yeah. You let
'Cause
me...
this is-
Yes. Before you let me move on. Yes.
Or before we
I know.
just
go to it. I'm
words
giving
are
you a
hard.
hard time.
Words are hard.
Is this week over yet? Oh,
I
no.
know.
We got more days.
So They are not the same. I want to show you Trump arriving in Mint Hill, North Carolina. Are you ready?
Yeah.
See all those people? They're
Yeah.
not the same.
Well, no.
Thoughts?
So back to Sassy's thing. This is an attempt of them to try to make people feel sorry for Me Too vote. Oh, look, they're coming after me. It's a weak attempt. It's a sad attempt. And I don't think anybody's going to care except for the left. It's only going to, strengthen her base, really, because in the end, the people that are on the right already know that nobody's going to do anything to Kamala. We don't want to make her a martyr. And we understand why Trump got a bump, because y'all tried to turn him into a martyr.
And we wouldn't miss.
Well, I mean, there's that too. That's why we don't try, because we recognize the gravity of what that's really about. And the people who follow everything that the Tell Live Vision tells them is going to believe that they can do anything that Tom Cruise did on Mission Impossible or something like that. Everybody thinks that they're Ocean's 11 kind of.
Everyone wants to be a gangster till it's time to do gangster shit.
Yeah, very true. So it's pandering. It's just trying to make people. It's trying to solidify the little bit of people that they have, and that's all it might do. I'm not even seeing like Harris advertisements on the things that I do. Like, they know not to bother with me because they know that I'm not going to vote for her.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What does that mean that they're putting what does that mean as to where they're putting their resources? They're putting their resources in the base. You get them? Well, yeah, maybe your algorithm's a little bit different because you're trying to see all the things. But I'm going to say that they're going to put it in the people that they either are trying to save or the very few people who are on the fence still.
That could be.
That's how I see it.
But I'm not getting them on TikTok. I'm getting them on other apps.
Are you? Interesting.
It's weird.
It is weird.
It's so weird.
It's weird that it's not on TikTok.
No, I don't get anything on TikTok except, I get Trump stuff. They know me.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, don't ask that bitch.
Anyway,
You
moving
ready?
on. Yes.
If you don't watch anything else today, watch this.
In San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through en masse. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents. To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
That is the former chief patrol agent. After Biden and Harris got into office, the number of people getting into this country that were caught that had high ties to terrorism was up by 600% and increased each year after that. And that's just the ones they caught. And they told him, the chief border agent, that he couldn't say anything, couldn't release the numbers. They basically muzzled him. He's coming out and telling us this, that they had to release people into communities that could not sustain them. The Biden-Harris administration sent 2 planes a week, costing taxpayers $150,000 a flight, taking the illegals they let in and importing them to Texas. my money, your money, our money, $150,000 a flight for people who should not be here. Think about that. $150,000, $300,000 a week on flights alone for people that are here illegally. The thing that's still scary is the amount of individuals highly linked to terrorism getting in this country was up 600% to begin with and has increased since that. Really think about that for a second. And on top of that, they wanted to keep it quiet because they know it doesn't look good. So, hey, don't be transparent with the public. Don't tell the people what's going on because it's going to look bad because our policies are not working. They're making the American people less safe. But let's gaslight the American people and make them think everything is fine. Even though the amount of people that have serious ties to terrorism that are coming into this country, they're up by over 600%. But don't worry, no worries. Everything is fine. And the chief border patrol agent, you better not say anything. Keep it quiet from the American people. We got to continue to look good while we're making the American people less safe. Not to mention, I don't know if you heard him. He said fentanyl went from $10 to 25 cents. Simple math would suggest that had to be a 40x in supply to get the price to come down that much. Almost a 4,000% increase in supply to get the prices down that low. We have 40 times more fentanyl on the street and 6 to 10 times more people highly linked to terrorism on the streets. And we're more safe under this administration. Yeah, okay.
Thoughts?
Everybody knows we're not any more safe than we were before 4 years ago.
Oh no, there's some people that think we are.
Well,
Don't say that.
Well, then those people are the same people who still wear a mask to this day.
I know.
Kind of people. And at a certain point in time, we don't need to listen to them anymore because they can't even recognize what's right in front of their face as to what's going on. By the way, in the beginning of the video, is talking about SIAs, and SIA is a special interest alien, i.e. a non-U.S. person who, based on analysis of travel patterns, potentially poses a national security risk to the United States or its interests.
Wow.
Is exactly what an SIA is, i.e. the terrorists, i.e. these military-age men that have been coming in all over the place. People recognize what's going on. People see it.
They're not dumb.
It's a ticking time bomb. And it's making people very nervous, and it should. But again, the people have to see this before they recognize that they want something different. Once these attacks started happening in New York City because all those bust-in migrants, it opened a lot of people's eyes to, oh, just because we're not a border state means that we need to support the border states. All of a sudden, it made perfect sense. It was crystal clear. Pennsylvania, they were one of those borders, not border, but sanctuary.
Sanctuary cities.
They had the sanctuary cities in Pennsylvania. And now the people there aren't so supportive of the whole sanctuary concept. You have to show them, sadly. But I do firmly believe that Trump will be able to make these people want to leave of their own accord once he gets here. Well, they're going to want to. And we brought up the example of what's going on in, I think, Pakistan, where they had over 1.5 million illegal immigrants in their nation.
Yeah.
And most of them were gone within the first 6 months because they chose to leave on their own.
Yeah.
Same thing will happen here once Trump becomes president.
I pray you're
again.
right.
It'll happen.
Okay.
Steven says, I don't know what to believe regarding the border and exactly who is letting them in. It's hard to question, but I'm not there counting bodies, not sure who is really allowing them in if it's happening. I will say it's happening. I will say that the non-governmental organizations, the NGO, like I think Red Cross has been fingered in this. There's a lot of those non-governmental organizations, charities that are helping these people get across the border. Then they have people, we've actually shown, it's been a while since we've shown the videos where there were local police officers from San Antonio. I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
San Antonio in uniform that were guarding a facility where they were busing the migrants too. And busing, I use that word loosely because there was a guy who drove up with like a Nissan Frontier and had 8 people pop out and get led into the facility. I think
that was in El Paso.
Was it El Paso? I remember it was Project Veritas.
Yeah, that was
or not Project Veritas, but wow, or no,
James O'Keefe.
yeah, OMG,
OMG.
yeah, O'Keefe Media Group.
Mhm.
There's some videos on that there if you wanted to check that out. And it's I believe in the way intelligence and counterintelligence and these kinds of things work. Something that I brought up a long time ago is they were handing each and every one of them a free phone. Now we see what they did with the phones, the cell phones, and the pagers over in Israel, and all of these people were given one. We're all being tracked. So I believe that some of that was done to root out and figure out who all of these little bit players are, so that way they don't rise up again anytime in the near future. Especially they won't be able to hunker down for 4 years until Trump is gone and then be able to fire it back up, because we've been finding out who all of the corrupt players are. It's giant sting operation, a RICO
I
case.
agree.
Yeah. Aaron says it's definitely a lot of disinformation and obfuscation, good word, at our border. If Q is to be believed, then it's part of the show. Otherwise, be prepared to use ammo. And I do believe it's part of the show. It's something that has been talked about on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do a search on the boards, but I don't know if that's going to help out right now. But it's something that can easily be looked up, and we know that the migrants are a real problem. Trump's been talking about it.
Mhm.
And so that is something that he's planning on taking care of. Nobody, I mean, people were talking about the wall, but they were giving us a little weak ass chain link fence so that way it looked good on TV.
Right.
And then we weren't having anything done. Trump comes into office and he builds this giant, beautiful wall. It just didn't get done because there wasn't enough time.
Mhm.
But this pause certainly helped people recognize the value of having a wall.
It really has.
Mhm. Hope says, as I've said since April of 23, Habakkuk 1. We'll have to look that one up too.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Exactly.
I'd rather keep my ammo on the range, you know? Yeah, we all would.
Yeah.
We all would, Aaron.
It's fun.
It's where it should be.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
Or are you looking something up?
I'm going to look up Habakkuk.
Okay.
Habakkuk 1, what was it? Or was it just all of Habakkuk 1?
Habakkuk 1.
Okay.
Truth is, they won't even know you're hurt because they never looked at you the way you looked at them.
When did I become so numb?
Remember, sometimes relationships, not just intimate relationships, but friendships, even work relationships, are not the same. And you have to remember that sometimes not everybody is going to love you or like you or treat you the way you're going to treat them. And so just remember, you're doing what you're supposed to do, because Yeshua says, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Have no others before him, and love your neighbor like you love yourself. So you're doing it right. But just know there are people out there that are going to hurt you, and they don't get it because they don't have a heart, because they don't have it open, because they don't love like you love. That doesn't, and forgive them. And that does not mean forgive them and then go sing Kumbaya and make s'mores in the backyard. It means forgive them and you don't have to have them in your life. Do what you feel you're called to do. But just know you're special and you're doing everything the way you're supposed to be doing. So don't change just because of a little hurt. And I know it sucks. I know it sucks. Hurt sucks regardless of what it is. I've been dealing with hurt. Santino's been dealing with hurt. Bethany's been dealing with hurt. You just have to move forward and know that it's all going to be okay. Seasoning, sir.
That video that we shared before, Kingdom. I don't know if y'all remember that. It was the animated short film. And it was.
You got that up?
Well, it's a 13-minute and 55-second video.
It's okay. Go ahead.
All
I
right.
think people need to see it again.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Un momento, por favor. Sent. Share screen. Kingdom. Share.
Oh, okay. Now it's sharing.
There we go. All right.
That was powerful.
That is a
Every
powerful
time we
video.
watch it, it's like Bethany said, I get something different out of it.
Every single time.
I normally cry like a baby, not gonna lie.
All right. And I know that this was supposed to be seasoning, so it was a lot of seasoning.
Yes.
But I believe that that video tells us so much truth in terms of how things are going to be playing out in the future. And that really it is the sword of the Lord that is going to provide our salvation in the end. And the fight that the main character in that I guess short movie gets at is all those people had the square boxes around their head. And that's where we learned the forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
Yes.
People hurt other people all of the time. Hurt people, hurt people is the way it works. And so it's that forgiveness, recognizing that these people are hurt. We've all been hurt. And we recognize that when we're hurt, we're less patient with everything going on around us. And we end up hurting other people with the words that we say, with the actions that we take, with the things that we do in response to the emotional response to the negative things that are happening in the world around us. So it's up to us to recognize that little light that was in each and every one of their hearts. And if you're just listening, please watch that video afterwards. And then we put the link in the chat earlier because it's a great video. And thanks to Joe Rambo, because he introduced me us to that little short as well. But recognizing that all of these people, they're going to be barking at you, they're going to be yapping at you, they're going to be coming after you because they're afraid of the light that you bring, that they're afraid to find in their heart themselves. That's why these people were I guess vomiting, that these people had these dark aspects getting blown out of their being. All of that represents the darkness that hides within our heart, because that darkness is what we've used to protect that little version of ourself. And so we lash out in the world around us. And by us overcoming those things, we recognize that everybody is stuck in that pattern. And it's that pattern that we're trying to help the world around us overcome, that pattern of hurt, and that using that hurt to try to protect the things that you love. Sadly, we've seen that that doesn't work. What we are seeing, though, is that love that we're supposed to have for our Creator. And we need to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And we love our neighbors how we love ourselves, because we recognize that we had to forgive ourselves for the things that we did wrong. So that way we can have that forgiveness to be able to give to other people when they don't even recognize that they need that forgiveness. This is a battle between dark and light. And that battle between dark and light can only be won if each and every one of you, myself included, everybody, every single person on this planet needs to make that choice to go to the light and recognize that the light is what will save us in the end.
Amen.
We know that people are going to attack us. Don't take it personally. Don't let your emotional being take over your rational mind to utilize your physical form to create pain in the world that we don't need any more of.
Amen.
Can't fight pain with pain. We have to fight pain with love.
Yes, we do. That was amazing.
That was
Good
amazing.
seasoning.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good seasoning.
So with that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart and know that we love each and every one of you. And we cannot wait to come back tomorrow night and get to talk to each one of you. We love your comments. We love talking
right
to
over
you.
there.
You guys do so much for us. Thank you, Brother
Bill.
Bill. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. And hit the thumbs down if you thought we sucked. And
Whatever.
say it in the comments. Let us know what
Let
we
us
can
know.
do better.
There you go. Anyways, thank you all for joining us. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.